Hey everybody, what's going on? KSA Kris here, the Real Estate Blitz. Want to talk to you real quick about a question that somebody had hit me up on that says, hey, I watched your video about CINC and I'm having issues with CINC. I don't know what's going on, but it's not what you said it was. So I figured I'd give you a call and, here I am. So let me tell you what I heard and how you fix it. So one of the challenges that I heard was this guy says, hey, I've been reaching out to CINC and I'm not seeing the returns that I was hoping for, and even the returns I'm not getting what I was hoping I was going to get. So I asked for something real simple. Actually, I says, you do me a favor, you call up your rep, because I got an amazing rep. Now, I didn't have an amazing rep at first. Let me rephrase. She was amazing, but we didn't know how to work together until I sat down and started talking to her, told her what I wanted. So I think where people go wrong sometimes, I think if they buy into a system or a platform or something like that, it just somehow magic happens and they're just going to start making a bunch of money. Let me tell you folks, if that were true for anything, then nobody would be doing nothing. It just is what it is. You got to have some invested interest in what you're doing and always look to improve or adjust or twist or tweak in order to get what you're looking for and what you're to meet your expectations. So I says, you call up your rep and you put me on the phone with your rep. And I was driving to Vegas at the time. I was in my car driving to Vegas doing my thing, and I jump on the phone with the rep, and I was pretty blunt and honest, and I think the rep was a little caught off guard. But I was like, look, do you have a list of, because this is what I asked my rep to do it every 28 days. I want a list. I want a rundown of where my money was spent. I want to see what my money went to. Was it Google? Was it pay-per-click? What was a campaign? What did it look like? What areas and what markets was campaigns going to? How did the redirects work? I want to see my percentages of returns, and I want to see my marketing dollars and what was the cost per lead for each specific market that I'm in. And some of the reps, they aren't, you got to understand, for one, they aren't real estate agents, they're in sales, and they don't always understand your market. So you're assuming that they're like, yeah, well, put it all into this thing. But they don't know your market. You know your market. So they're like, well, let's do 10. And I'm like, no. For our website, we're in 3 specific markets, and I'm specifically targeting individuals within a price point that I want, period. And I want to see the returns from what we created, so that way every 28 days, if I got to, we can adjust so we make sure we're maximizing our money. But if you're not adjusting anything and you're trusting somebody that's not a real estate agent in your market to actually create or generate something that works nationwide, you're shooting yourself in the face. Just go start a pistol, because it's basically what you're doing. You're shooting yourself in the face, and then you're getting mad at CINC for not getting you more deals when you should have had invested interest in your own market, because you know your market. So every 28 days, I ask for this platform. I say, where was my money spent? What were the percentage of my returns? Show me all of our, so if it's on Facebook, I want to see what Facebook programs did you put out there? Which ones were successful? Which ones weren't? What markets am I in? And then I turn around after I study it and analyze it. I either let it alone so I can get another month's of analyzation if I'm getting decent returns, or I adjust. Now, I'm going to tell you an old adage that I learned in the Marine Corps. So in the Marine Corps, when you go out to the rifle range and you learn how to shoot your rifle, right? You got to look at these targets, and they got this target, and in the target somewhere there's this little bullseye that you got to hit. And what they always talk about is bold changes. So you got elevation and windage, right? And that adjusts whether you're shooting right or left or up or down. So when you're trying to shoot and you hit everything in the bullseye, if you're not in the bullseye, you know by math that for every couple inches that I'm off, there's X number of clicks I got to turn to get right into that bullseye spot. Now you have a choice. You can walk it over and do 1 click at a time until eventually you get into that bullseye, or you can do bold changes. The reason why you do bold changes, if I'm over here and I missed right here, well, I have a choice. I could walk it in, or I could say I'm going to do bold the other way. Bam, and then it puts me over here. So now I know if I just divide the two, I'll be right in the center. Now instead of walking it over, losing 3 or 4 different shots until I finally got into the bullseye, I just dropped 2. And now I'm in there every time. So you got to make bold changes to actually stay on, or as they say on The Deadliest Catch, stay on the fish, right? Could you keep dropping your fish stuff down there and hoping some crab will end up in your pot? You could, but you're relying on hope. Or you could just pick them all the damn up and say, you know what, we got a few, but this ain't it. Let's be bold. Let's go find a different spot. Let's go find out where they're at, so that way when we drop again, we're always on it and we can fill up our tanks. So that's what I would recommend. The number one stop in every complaint that I've heard so far: get some invested interest in your own business and make some bold changes and make sure that you're staying on the fish. Number two, somebody asked me even recently, it says, I was on so I talked about Tom Ferry, and and by the way, first off, none of these people pay me. CINC don't pay me to say this about them, nor does Tom Ferry pay me to say anything about them. It's just, these are things I'm using that work for me, and I like them. I like the product, so I talk about it. Maybe in the future, one day they will, but I doubt it. You never know. But I had two people, one lady from Texas and one lady from New Jersey, call me about their Tom Ferry program. It says, hey, I hear all this positive stuff about you and what you've done with Tom Ferry, but I'm just not having the same experience. So I just asked some questions. It says, tell me about your coach. They started telling me about the coach, and everything was negative. Well, my coach this, and I don't like my coach, and we don't get along. And I says, all right, so let me get this right. Because one of two things is wrong with somebody like that. It's either them and it's their mindset and who they are, and they just don't like people and they don't want to listen and they don't want to be humble. Or two, literally the person that they don't like genuinely sucks. I don't know. And I did. When I first was getting on the Tom Ferry program, the first person I talked to, and I know my personality pretty well, I jumped on the phone and I was like, you're not for me, bud. Oh, this is kind of how it works. I says, no, you're confused. Here's the thing. I'm getting ready to pay Tom Ferry a whole bunch of money. And I don't think Tom Ferry wants to lose money because you and I don't get along and don't like each other. And here's the thing. Just because, well, we have a contract. Now, here, I don't have to pay you. You can have a contract all day. I don't care. Look, an easy fix to that is I just turn off my credit card and you don't get another damn dollar from me. So I went and found a coach that I knew I would get along with. I found a coach that my personality would work well with, that I would listen to, that I would respect, and that I would be willing to actually let him mentor me. And with my personality, I have a strong personality. And I've had success. So when it comes to a rep at CINC, this is what I told this one gentleman that gave me a call. I says, I listened on the phone. I says, you guys don't communicate. Hell, he was having a hard time communicating with me because every time it was like, well, we don't normally do that for people. And I was like, I don't care. This guy's paying you thousands of dollars per month, and he wants to see where his money's being spent. That's an obligation. I know my rep does it for me. So if your rep isn't doing what you need, if they're not answering the questions that you're asking, and they're not able to help you get on the fish, get rid of your rep. That's your reps. Ask for a different rep. I want to talk to somebody different. So many people are afraid to do that, even like I was saying on Tom Ferry. Ask for a different coach. So many people are afraid to do that. Just like, well, I don't want to upset anybody. Listen, you're paying for this. Tom Ferry, I mean, if you're on core, it's $600 a month. That's some dude to talk to every other week, twice a week for an hour's worth of talking. You're paying $600 a month. You're paying them $600 an hour. If you're on the elite program, you talk to them 4 times, and you're paying them $1,000 a month. And you're worried about hurting their feelings? You should be worried about hurting your own damn feelings. You just lost $600 to $1,000 a month because you weren't sitting there willing to have invested interest in you and say, I don't like you. We don't get along and you're not helping me. I want somebody else. Same with CINC. You could spend anywhere from a minimum of $1,400 a month all the way up to, like us, $12,000. You're spending $12,000 a month, and they're like, well, I guess I don't want to upset anybody. Screw that. I don't care. I went out and bought a truck this weekend for my wife, right? And this guy was so pissed off. Not my fault he got out and negotiated. He just did. Well, we're only going to make $100 off this. Not my problem. Not my problem. So you're telling me I should be willing to part ways with my money, but so you don't? And I'm, well, I thought you liked me. I don't even know you, dude. You seem nice, but I don't care to know you either. We ain't friends. I'm not drinking with you. I'm trying to get something for my money. And you need to treat it the same way. And if you don't, that's your fault. And if you're in that same boat and you're not afraid to do that, you need to do me a favor. You don't call me. I'll just tell you. If you're not willing to be concerned about your own cash, don't call me saying you have a problem with somebody. Because I'm going to tell you the same thing I just told you. Well, did you ask these things? Did you do this? Are you worried about your money? Well, I didn't want to upset nobody. Then why are you calling me? If you're good with making sure other people get paid and you lose money and you don't get paid, then it sounds like, it's not CINC. It's not Tom Ferry or any of these other programs. It sounds like it's you. I remember hearing something once, somebody talking about, what's the best CRM? And I've had people ask me all the time, and I agree with the thing that I heard years ago. The best CRM is the CRM that you're using. If you actually use it, it'll pay you dividends. Even if that CRM happens to be Excel, an Excel doc. Now, are there probably better things out there? Sure there are. But hell, if you aren't even able to use Excel properly, and you're going to start paying money for something else thinking it's going to be the magic pill for you, then nope. When I talk about certain things, so I talked about the difference between Boomtown and CINC. I actually dove deep into Boomtown, and I dove deep into CINC. And I paid and used Boomtown for over a year. And CINC, I think it's been about the same. I'm telling you from my experience of diving deep and actually having invested concern for my money, which one gave me the better returns. And right now I'm here to tell you CINC does. CINC gave us and is giving the better returns. But that's just my opinion. Right? So do me a favor. Take to heart what I said. If you don't, that's okay too. Don't care. I'm still going to keep putting up videos. And sometimes I feel like this is for me. Because I originally started this for our agents on our team. I just happened to need a place to store it so they could read it, and then people started engaging with it. So here I am. But, deep dive. Get concerned about your money. Start trying to be greedy. Be unreasonable. Sit down and start trying to figure out for every goddamn penny I spend, I need to get something. When you get deep like that, you'll start seeing the returns. When you start asking those questions and you become relentless and unreasonable, you'll start finding that any platform that you're on is going to start giving you a return, and they'll respect you more and they'll actually work for you. And if they don't, that ain't the platform you should be on. And you could say, screw you, and take your money somewhere else, because there's plenty of people that want your money. All right? So with that said, appreciate you as always. KSA Kris, Real Estate Blitz. Do me a favor, like, share, comment. Like, share, comment. Like, share, comment. Share this with some friends. Let them know what's going on too. Tell them about the Blitz. And as always, if you have any questions, bam, pop it right down there. I always try to reply to everybody. And if all comes to pot, give me a ring. I don't care. I'll always answer the phone. If I don't, I'm going to call you back. Okay? Have a good one. Be safe out there. Keep killing it in the real estate market. We need more people that are great, educated agents just like you. And if you get there, and if you aren't there, you need to get there. And when you get there, you'll see the rest of us hanging out. All right, have a good one. Appreciate you. Have a good one.